So if I could say anything, I think what I want to say is over the years, as I've worked, when God told me to step out of full-time ministry, so to speak, which Sheila and I were in, and go into business and keep doing ministry, one of the things I've done is I've interviewed executives over the years, and at least twice a year try to take a vice president or CEO, whatever, out for lunch. And what has amazed me in talking to them, because if you know anything about their lives, they go through an incredible amount of pressure and stress, and in one day, you know, people can love them, by noon they hate them, by the afternoon they think they're going to get fired, and by evening the board of directors wants to give them a raise, meaning they go through the gamut. I've asked them one question, or actually two, but the one that I want to address here is, how have you lasted so long? So I made sure that anyone I interviewed had at least been in an executive type role, meaning vice president and above, for at least 15 years. Most had been longer. And the one thing that every single one of them said, either the first one or the second one, was a sense of humor. And then it was either relationship or taking time for themselves. So the first thing I want to say is, in this time, take time to have a sense of humor. Don't lose your sense of humor. Maybe don't inflict it on others, depending on the type of sense of humor you have. But in all seriousness, that is vital. Even if you're an introvert, what makes you laugh? Even if you have to go back and look at some things from a while back that made you laugh, go back and look at some of them. Even if they don't make you laugh, they make you smile. Start somewhere to regain your sense of humor. So that's just some natural advice. Take care of who you are, your personality. The other thing was, you know, one of the executives took up photography. Another one said they painted, and, you know, different things like that. Don't lose yourself. So, you know, that's not all of us. Some draw, some write, some, whatever you do though, make sure you're making time for that. And if you don't have something, you know, don't feel the stress to figure it out, but allow yourself that freedom. It's important not to lose that, okay? But, so that's just natural advice I want to say. If you've heard me before, don't listen to the micro news. It will kill you. It's you know, all about fear and what's wrong. And although we need to be aware and informed, we can't live on that. The other side I want to say is, before this started, where were you with God? You know, some of us were being disciplined, maybe. Some of us were being encouraged. Some of us were feeling, you know, stretched and challenged and going, you know, keep your hands and feet inside the ride. And then all of a sudden the ride took off, and here we are. So I want to encourage you, is all that's going on, God was aware of it before, and he's aware of it now. How is he using this in your relationship with him? If you're falling apart and completely negative, then own up to that and open up to some people around you that can help you. Don't put the burden on them, meaning nobody else can take responsibility for your own happiness and your own motivation. But at the same time, we do need each other. It says when somebody's crying, cry with them, in a sense. When somebody's laughing, laugh with them. We do need to live with each other. And, you know, sometimes that can seem insensitive. And I'm not saying you go to a funeral and start telling jokes and being stupid. But what I am saying is when people are down, they also need to be around people who are happy. And people who are happy also need to be around people who are struggling so that we can be with each other and encourage each other. So how do you do that when you're not allowed to be together? Well, welcome to the 21st century, and so to speak, the new Roman road is what you're watching, the internet, connecting, and getting comfortable with this. It does change the dynamic, but I want to ask you to reframe things. If 60% of communication is visual and you're watching this, you're getting more out of this than if you were just listening to my voice. So the people you love, I want to encourage you to try to connect with them visually over your phone, using phone, video, whatever way. And if you need help, reach out. There's a lot of us who for work reasons or other reasons use video. At work, I was the one who initiated working from home, and I used to joke it would be easier to point a gun at a lady and some men than a camera. Not that we go around pointing guns at each other, you hear what I'm saying, but it's horrible to see yourself because you go, oh my goodness, do I look like that? Do I look like this? And the issue is the person you're communicating with and connecting with are people who love you, and they don't see what you see. They see you. And if it is funny, then you get to laugh, but you get to connect. And so I want to ask us to lower our, I won't say pretenses, but all of a sudden as people are joking, we've all become televangelists and we've all become movie stars and we've got cameras everywhere. But how do we become more comfortable, especially using this with the people we love and that we need and that need us? So I want to encourage you to use some of those tools. Don't forget your sense of humor. And if you don't have a hobby, pick up something. I don't know in this time. Who cares if you don't do it in a year? We need a way to break and express our humanity. And then also engage in your relationship with God and let Him speak to you. If you've heard me talk about the peace of God that must come and help us. And at times we don't have that. And at times we have enough of it to give away. And if you have to give away, I want you to ask God right now, who in your sphere that you know of might need that? And if somebody's name comes to mind, text them. If you know somebody, call them. Make time to make that connection. So that's what I want to give, and just encourage you guys and just say, you know what, we're not only going to get through this, but we're going to come through this stronger, and we're going to come through this wiser, and we're going to do this better, and we've got a lot more life to live together, as well as accomplishing what God has for us.
Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. If you would like to find out more about who we are, you can find that at ctfboulder.com, or feel free to download the Church Center app. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. If you would like to listen to more of our sermons and our messages, you can find those on YouTube or Spotify. We love you, God bless you, and thank you for tuning in to Catch the Fire Boulder, where we're more than a church, we're family.